Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's best trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. We have a lot to cover. Yesterday was a wild ride. I gave a lot of different tickers. I was rapid fire. Some of them hit, some of them flush levels, some of them were textbook perfect. Let's go ahead and go over those. I have some more for you, some additional key levels that I'm watching. Home Depot has respected this upsloping trend line that I've been watching. It finally broke down, has not confirmed, but it's getting into a key technical support level. You guys want to check out this trend line that I'm going to show you on HD, Home Depot. That's going to be later on in the charts, but I've also got the SMH. I've got NVIDIA for you. I've got Unity software and many, many more. Stay tuned for what I have for you. The first chart that I'm going to go over is AMD. This is one that we've been tracking for a while. One thing that I'm actually noticing in the charts is you have this potential head and shoulders pattern. So you've got this shoulder here, head here, shoulder here. You've also got this upsloping trend line that looks to be breaking. It did break yesterday. This was my long level at $233.54 yesterday. As you can see, this thing flushed this secondary support level and finally got a bounce around $224.64 and then is selling off a little bit more today. So let's go ahead and remove this trend line. Now, what I want to note, or want you guys to notice, is look at this trend line. This is the trend line that we've been tracking for quite a while. This upsloping trend line from the 21st, or the highs of 2021, highs of 2024. So if our AMD can continue this upward momentum, I still like this upside target of $274.87, right around, $275 for a swing trade short on this trade. I'm liking the setup. It's going to be incredible if we can get up there. If price action does start breaking this upsloping trend line, this next support level that I have, now that it's already kissed this double bottom area, is $218.09. This is where I'm looking to pick AMD up for a day trade. Any stop below that on a 15-minute closing basis, I will exit that trade and look for potential more downside. You have $212, and then ultimately this pivot low right here, gap fill, $203.58. The SMH, we're also watching. It's got an upsloping parallel channel. I have positioned it to show you what I'm looking at. So here's the chart of SMH. Finally broke this upsloping trend line, finally confirmed to the downside. If price action gets back up to $345.08, this is where I'm going to go short. This would be more of a swing trade. The nice thing about a parallel channel is once price action gets back above this upsloping trend line with confirmation, this would be a great area to stop out to minimize the amount of risk that you're taking on. On the downside, $325.34 is going to be your first gap fill level. You're going to get a lot of support on that particular level. If we start flushing, the next level is going to be $305. This is the potential downside. So you're minimizing the risk. So you could maybe take a 3 to 5% loss. But look at this. If you get a retrace and you take this all the way down, you can get as much as 11% move on SMH. NVIDIA is another stock that we've been watching as well. We've still got this upsloping trend line. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm looking at. So the March 2025, look at all this price action, how it consolidated right on this trend line. This shows you that it's got a lot of resistance. Once it breaks above, then its support hits a couple different times. We finally broke this support level yesterday. However, in the pre-market, we are trying to get back above. I still have this long level at $178.91. I love this level. It's this low pivot. And ultimately, if we break through there, it's going down to $170.29. NVIDIA is not something I'm looking to swing trade quite yet. And the reason I'm not swing trading it is it's got earnings today after the bell about 4:20 or 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to stay away from this. 3 to 5 days, we'll continue to update you and show you where price action is. If it continues to rip, it's going to go back above 210. And then we could look at shorting it then once it does make that move. SNDK, I know, is one stock that people have been eyeing lately. The first level of resistance for me is $257.15. However, I'm going to be patient on this. You have this huge gap fill at $265.88. If it can get up to that level, I am looking to take a day trade short, knowing that it could go up to $282. SanDisk can really move once you start getting the momentum behind it. One thing that I really like about SanDisk is now you've got this consolidated trend line. This pivot low from the October lows, price consolidated, hit on this support trend line. This is the second hit, third hit, fourth hit, fifth hit. This is a lot of support. Once this trend line breaks, you are going to move back down to about $207, if not even lower. You could head down to $194. This is where I would likely pick this up on more of a swing trade basis. Like any other stock that is momentum driven, once the selling pressure consists, then you could even drop down to this low pivot right here at $133. Time is ticking on SanDisk. It's starting to weaken. Could see a nice rollover. Dell, I was mentioning yesterday. Here's a nice, beautiful upsloping parallel channel. Look at how price action respected not only the lower end, but also the midline of this upsloping parallel channel. Finally broke down. I did give you my level. I said right here at about $120, you should get a nice support. It jumped over $5 all the way up to $126.15. My support level, if Dell decides to drop more, is $109.56. This is a beautiful gap fill in the charts that buyers are likely sitting to drive the price up. It's also the continued measured move from this parallel channel. So what I did was I took the measurement from the top end to the lower end and then took that exact same measurement, and this gives you around $109.56 right into this gap fill. I am picking this up for a long trade if we can get down there. Robinhood is another stock that I'm looking at. You see I have this low pivot at $110.47. If you start breaking this support trend line, you're coming down to $101.25 on Robinhood. So that is where I would enter it again. So $110.47. If it closes below that on a 15-minute closing basis, I would stop out and then re-enter it at $101.25. The momentum in Robinhood is still pretty large. So if we can get another push to the upside, it could go up to $135 before it starts reversing. One thing I'm noticing is you're starting to put in what's considered an MA pattern. If you don't know anything about MA patterns, they're a bearish signal indicating that there are likely buyers stepping up if it can get back to the midline around $127. This is going to be a pretty solid resistance level. That's where you could possibly pick this up for a potential short for a swing trade. MU is another stock that I'm really, really liking. We still have this topping tail that's valid at $250.02. I'm looking to pick MU up at $218.03. This is a beautiful gap fill in the charts that I'm loving. If we can get down there today, this is what I'm picking up. 15-minute closing basis, I would stop out of this, knowing that it could go down all the way to this gap fill at $206.46. Google is another stock that we were looking at. I had mentioned pre-market. It was above the 50% Fibonacci retracement, sitting at above $288.76. I said now is a good time to possibly get into Google as a short trade with a stop out on a daily closing basis above $293.95. And as soon as I got off the chat, they just continued to fall. It got about a 3.5% to 4% fall from that level. If you took this, congratulations. I do have another stock that's moving today in the pre-market, and that's Unity Software. Unity Software had earnings yesterday, and so now it's popping pretty nicely. Look at where Unity could eventually could be going. The first stop is going to be $39.99. For me, my shortable level is $44.45. This is where I'm looking. One thing that I'm really enjoying about the charts of Unity, it seems to be really respecting trend lines. When you get a stock that respects trend lines, you can put a little bit more into it once it gets up to key resistance levels if you're shorting it. But look at this, from the lows of April 2025, secondary hit at the June 2025, and then a third hit right here, the 4th of November. Now this is the 5th hit, and then got a bounce. If price ends up breaking below this upsloping trend line, you could get a nice sell-off down to this gap fill at $31.93. Home Depot. Okay, so I've drawn some trend lines in here already, so I know what I'm about to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this low pivot from the lows, the COVID lows, draw this trend line through this pivot, and look at what happens. Price has respected this upsloping trend line for over 5 years, which is really substantial. This gives you an idea of how support is being supported, which means that as soon as the support is broken, it is likely to become resistance. We haven't confirmed on Home Depot. We just closed below it. For me, I'm looking to go long at $326.31 today if we can drop down there. If we confirm we bounce here, I'm looking to short this on a swing trade basis if it can get back up to $351. It would have to confirm below it to indicate that this trend is broken and now it is starting to decrease. The sellers are increasing. The buyers are stepping out of the way, driving Home Depot down. Again, $350 if we can get a confirmation on Home Depot. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I know there's a lot of charts. If you need to go back and slow it down to draw those trend lines for yourselves, please make sure you're doing that. Some of these levels, if they hit, they're going to trigger and they're going to go fast. So you want to be updated. You guys are awesome. You guys leaving a lot of comments for me, and I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to all of them that I can, and I'll try to keep you guys updated on all these positions that we're currently monitoring for specific levels. Thanks again for joining me. If you guys are getting something out of this, please make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, ringing that bell so you can get notified every morning. My trading game plan is going live. Gareth Soloway is going to be going over some key technical levels, showing you what's going on in the markets. This is something you guys don't want to miss. And we'll see you guys next time in the charts. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.